the microphone and the camera just for now, and this is going to be a reading for Z, who I'm waiting on. Oh, wow, that was fast. Hi, Z, how are you? That was fast. All right. So we're going to do a deep dive into, what was his name? Kobe? Or if you want, I'll pause it and get the question so you don't have to repeat yourself. Give me 1 second, sweetie. Let me go read that question. Okay, so it's Conrad. Got it. All right, so you want to find out about your relationship with Conrad. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with a little bit about the past. Okay, a little bit about the past. This is going to give me an idea of you know, what's been going on. So I'm just going to take a small peek. I'm not going to obviously spend a very long time on it, but I do need to get a feel for some stuff. Okay, so here we go. Let me get my other deck. You are. So this is what I'm going to do, okay? So the $15 is awesome because, just to give you an idea, that's all. So the $15 reading is really good because people are in a hurry. So I'll look at the situation, give them an answer, which is good, but sometimes people want more, like they want to know what he's thinking, what he's feeling on a deeper level. So the 25 gets into that a lot, but the 48 is going to give you everything. So you're going to have everything. So don't worry about it. Okay, this is the extended one. Okay, so we're going to look into the past. The reason is because I don't know about both of you. So I need to understand what's going on. I need to know what happens. So it's going to put me somewhere in the past, in a story, somewhere. Maybe it was an argument. Maybe it's when you met. Maybe it's right before you met. I don't know yet. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Once I get a feel for the past, we're going to go into the present. And then we're going to go into his mind deeper. And then we're going to go into the relationship outcome and what you need to know, what you should be, you know, worried about, or maybe it's not, or, you know, we're going to look into some things. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, actually, since it's the first time I'm reading for you, I'm going to go ahead and do an energy check. So this is a crystal dice reading, so it's a dice reading. So it's Conrad and Z. Okay, I'm just going to be reading this a minute. I don't know if you saw it. There we go. So this lets me know you left from the situation. That means that I don't know if you blocked him. I don't know if you or maybe you're thinking about blocking him. This is where you have you're deciding to leave, or this is giving like abandonment, ghosting, blocking vibes. Now there's a situation with the fact that he is in love, but he's not showing his feelings. Okay, so he is in love, he's not showing him his feelings, And there's some big effort here with work and money. So that means that what I'm seeing is, how can I explain this clearly? Either he feels that you're prioritizing work before him, or you feel that work and there's a sense of, it could be when someone's being selfish. Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. Just let me get this out. There'll be plenty of time for you to talk to me. Let me make sure this is on so that I give you the full time, because I wanna make sure you have the full time of the reading. So I'm just going to put the timer on just so that you don't get less of what your reading is. So here we go. Okay, you already started, but it's okay. It's a 45-minute reading. So, and if you have to go for work or whatever in 45 minutes, it's okay, because this records and it uploads every 2 or 3 days, you know, the archive, so people have like a record of it. All right, so there is something that right away this is telling me that money in some way, shape, or form is causing not a wedge, but it is. I'm thinking to myself, I'm sharing with you what I'm thinking, feeling. It could be that one person's acting selfish with money. It could be that, you know, one prioritizes work over the other person or seeing them. It can be that one person is maybe bought an expensive gift and money somehow, like a selfishness, played a role in it. It could be that you see that he's spending money on friends and not you. There's something to that. It can also be that, you know, a person's commute, you know, every day, that maybe on the way is when you would see each other through work. So in a weird way, it's showing up. It's not as something significant, but it's one of those schedule things, and also a theme. So I see that he's showing his feelings and holding them back. So sometimes that's when someone has a gift they're going to buy, or go on a trip with someone and says, well, I'm pissed off at you, I'm not going to go. You know, and like they're money, and then they're like taking it back, and money, you know, so that also can be a financial thing, kind of like teasing with something. Well, I'm pissed off at you, I'm not going to go. So anyway, this is what I see, and I see this as a loop-de-loop pattern. This is something that's a cycle. It's been going on, and he's already programmed by your response. So that means that he is already that you've been through this enough times where he has kind of realized your moods or stuff like that. Okay, so this is something like that. Okay, there we go. All right, so did you get that, Z? Sorry, I had to get rid of that person. Okay. Did you get that, Z, sweetie? Okay, so now we're gonna go, okay, good. I didn't see there was a troll, sorry about that. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the past a little bit. Now that I kind of know there's a theme of pattern, there's a theme where he's aware of how you feel, that I do know. And I see that you're feeling bent about the vicious cycle or whatever has been going on. And I see that you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. We already know that. All right, you know your story. I don't know your story. I got to find out your story. So here we go, Z and Conrad. Where are my runes? Ah, okay. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to start reading, getting a little bit of the past. So this is a little bit odd. I'm thinking that maybe you, this could be before you met him, which means that the time together hasn't, it's been very intense and it feels longer in time than actually together, but that's besides the point. This could be him, but it kind of feels like you're around the time you met him. So, okay, let me start off. So first of all, we're getting very Capricorn energy here. We're getting a very intelligent person, a person that, you know, maybe your ex, it could be him, but let's just go with you right now because I'm trying to put the pieces together. So, you know, and this person took a hiatus. So it talks about this person being, going through a really difficult time emotionally. They withdraw. And it talks about someone missing that person. So like when couples break up and one of them is in a funk and going through some stuff and the other one just misses the person. So there's missing here when a person misses being close to somebody. It also talks about a woman really vigilantly looking at this person, like maybe from afar or maybe online. I don't call it spying. I call it like just snooping on them because they miss them. It talks about noticing someone. So maybe this is someone that, you know, the person was kind of like trying to keep tabs because they still have feelings. So it could be that they were still looking at the person in the past, but this also can reveal when a person notices someone that they're attracted to, and this can be the workplace as well. So this can be like one of those like far away crushes. It talks about a person being very emotionally, like, you know, exhausted from what they've been through. Tired. I mean, yeah, okay, a person can be tired, but this is like when a person's had like a really hard breakup or they're just exhausted from missing that person. It ended abruptly, or, you know, a heavy heart, I guess you can say. And it talks about a very friendly, like, connection that started off romantic, but it was like mixed with friendly first. So some things end up like start off like really passionate, and some things are just friendly turned romantic and flirty quickly. And this is what this feels like. And it also talks about someone who is very comforting, very protective. So sometimes this is an indicator that if someone has kids and they meet somebody that doesn't, it can also be that, you know, that person's very like fatherly or motherly. But sometimes I've seen this too, where it's just they kind of emotionally come into like heal that person, and it just fits like a glove. So whatever this story is, now if this was both of you, then you've been through a hell of a lot, because this is about something that stopped and then started. Okay, but if it's the past, before the person, before Conrad, this would tell me a little bit about how interesting how you met, where it kind of fell on your lap. Yeah, you were wanting, you know, to find each other, but, you know, it kind of like all of a sudden. So this is interesting. I don't know why it would start here, because I'm not seeing a problem. I'm seeing just an interesting intro. So I'm going to stop right here. And so far, do you have anything to say about this? You want me to continue? Are you comfortable with this part? Before we go on, I'm going to take a little bit more further look into the past. We're going to keep going just a little bit until I hit what I call a hot spot. All right, I'll pick it out, and then we'll go right into the current, and then we're going to go into the mind read, and then we're going to go into the future. All right, and sum up the reading. I know readings can be strange, so I'll give you a minute if you need to collect your thoughts. Okay, so this friend, that I see, you know, he seemed very, so it was the, okay. So the guy that I see here is very Capricorn energy, so male Capricorn. It doesn't mean that has to be his sign, but a lot of times, because I'm an astrologer when I read tarot, so I do pick up on a lot of rising signs, things like that. This person's energy seems, they're very collected, they're kind of cool, like a cool cat. You know, what I mean by that is there's people that are very vocal and, you know, I'm the limelight, I have a lot of energy, I'm a big mouth, I chatterbox. And then there are people that are a lot more subtle. So this person seems to me subtle. Okay, so this would be the X. So it's not strange to me that you are drawn to Capricorn men. It's not strange. A lot of times, it's a pattern actually, it's normal. So let's say that Conrad is a Capricorn sun, but your ex maybe was a rising Capricorn, or maybe that was his moon. You know, or maybe he had a stellium in Capricorn, or maybe he had well, if he had, I was going to say if his big six had a lot of Capricorn energy, that would be a stellium. So, you know, which is an identity. So yeah, I don't doubt it. People they are drawn to the same type of, they attract the same type of friend pattern and romantic pattern, okay? So you're drawn to the smart, hardworking, intelligent, laid back kind of guy, but at the same time, they do have a dark streak. They can be extremely hard emotionally, verbally. They could be very extreme. And they can have a very hard personality that if you're dealing with a sensitive person, it can hurt your feelings. So they do have a cold streak as well. But anyway, they are very goal-oriented and very, very smart individuals. All right, so this is the X. Okay, this is the X. And this is just telling me that when you guys kind of like became distant, or like he had to go on his own journey, continue with his life, whatever it was, there was a missing element there. And it shows that the way that you know, Conrad came into your life was suddenly, and the friendly flirty. So we're good with that. Let me keep going because just a little bit more on the past. My goal in this reading, just for you to know, my goal is to give you clarity on what to do, what's coming up, to help you make, you make your own decisions, but I will let you know what's coming, what's going on, and what what he feels, okay? Yeah, that's very Capricorn. They do have a cold side. But what I meant by missing him is there's ways where people have like a very big falling out, and it's really loud and yelling and throwing things and the whole thing. And then there's ways that people break away where the talking is less, the communication less, and then all of a sudden that's that blocked, or the cold shoulder kind of thing, and then that leads to blocked or something, or just ignoring. That could also be ignoring. There's ghosting, and then there's ignoring. That's as well. But all I'm saying is that the vibes that it gave in the reading is where you kind of knew it was coming, but you didn't, and it got the best of you. So that means that it left you kind of like empty, or like, now what? Like what? Like, this is weird. Like, I really needed this emotional connection, and it's not there. So, and that's where Conrad came into the picture, which was a surprise because your headspace was somewhere else. All right. Now it's taking me to a place in the reading, in the story, where this is you and Conrad, okay? It skipped ahead in the timeline. So we're at a different highlight point. And it's taking me to a place where you and him maybe went somewhere as a short travel, or maybe maybe you took a drive for the weekend somewhere. Maybe you actually did actual travel overseas or something. This talks about when two people start connecting in a way where not marriage, but like maybe marriage like, or maybe engagement, or maybe something really serious. It felt like that. It felt like at this time frame, one could imagine the future like that. One could imagine, and maybe both of you had this moment where you were getting very close and it felt like a forever kind of feeling, okay? And then it was interrupted by a very bad explosion of temper. So maybe this was the first time that you were exposed to his wrath or his temper or his hard words. This is an aggressive yelling. A lot of times, sometimes this person has dad issues. Maybe they drink and have a drinking problem. Maybe there's something that they, spike. Maybe they get hangry. Maybe there's something hormonal. Something can spark their bad temper. Sometimes it's medication, whatever. But there is something here where it goes from really serene and planning things together, really being together, and then all of a sudden, bam, what the hell is this? Like, what? Right. So this is really where the highlight point is in the reading. So we're talking really smooth and really gentle and really romantic and like it was very chill, very refreshing, and then all of a sudden there's this interruption. And this is when I would say this seems to me like the root of the plant that started to like grow and grow and grow, revisiting this pattern. So I would say, think of a lake that's very calm, no wake, almost like it's so still, it's almost like a mirror. And then you take a little pebble and you throw it and it causes a ripple, not waves, but little ripples. And I would say that this is the disruption to the energy, okay? And this is what it seems like to me. Okay, we're gonna take another little peek. So now I know that he has temper issues. Not so strange for a Capricorn. Okay, so this is bringing up something very strange, but we're at a different highlight. There's going to be, there's only one more highlight after this one, then we're going to go into the current. So this is where a woman is feeling like the guy is going to propose, and sometimes people don't want to get engaged. Sometimes they're just happy with like moving in with each other or keeping some of your stuff at his or whatever. People have different speeds at which they move in a relationship, but let's just call this engagement vibes, because this is when a woman is feeling, okay, we're feeling it, I really believe that this is getting deeper, and the whole 9 yards. And this talks about fear, where something is going to be permanent or can be permanent. And the person also finds out that the person has like a dark secret, sort of, not too dark, but like maybe an addiction, like something that maybe they have a drug problem, or maybe they some kind of substance. Maybe it's drinking, maybe it's addiction to something that is not okay with a relationship. There's a lot of ways to be addicted to toxic things, toxic people, toxic behaviors. And this talks about that. This can also bring up a person's record, if a person has a record when they're not able to do something. So let's say that people are falling in love and they say, oh, let's get a place together, and so, and the person says that they can't because of a restriction. So this is where this lets me know something came up. Yeah, right. So I was going to say something came up where a person's emotions mixed with a vice has led to a disruption of the smoothness that they were enduring, that they were having, that they were enjoying. So all I already know so far between the dice reading, without you telling me, like, well, I appreciate that you're, talking to me, but, all I'm saying is, from what I've seen so far, Conrad's the problem here. Yes, you have to, it's always 50-50 and no one's a saint, but I see that you're the one that's been on board a lot to get this going, and you want like this smooth, steady stability. And he's the one that has jeopardized that and made you feel uncomfortable. So I'm already seeing that this is probably why you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, because the good times you have had and the good times you see he's capable of, and the Conrad of the beginning, who's that friend flirty guy, you want him all the time and you deserve that. And I see that he's not that person all the time. Okay, so let's close this part. Now this is bringing up someone's mother. I don't know if your mom is, oh, thank you so much, sweetie. The only reason I do that, let me explain. When I meet someone for the first time, a lot of times they just, they'll get like one of those like free stuff from me and whatever, and they won't know later that it comes true until they're like, oh wait, you told me something, But when they get a reading from me, I feel that the person doesn't know me, and my job as a psychic is to show the client. I don't want them to tell me. I'm something called evidential, right? I do that with my mediumship and my divinatory readings. Why? Because I feel that, it's my job to tell the client their story, because that's what psychics do. And if I'm going to do a reading for you, but you have to tell me your story, then that's, what the hell is that shit? No. So that's my job, and I do that to make the client feel comfortable, right? So psychics are supposed, and mediums are supposed to tell the person the information. But it is a weird story, because you got to think about it. I got to put puzzle pieces together, and by you reflecting on, you're not leading the question, because that's how people get scammed, but you are reflecting on what I am primarily saying, and that helps me because it just lets me know you are connecting with me. So thank you very much for that. Okay, this is bringing up someone's mother, and it's talking about someone holding back their feelings. So either your mom doesn't like him, sometimes it's a sister who is older, or someone who's extremely motherly and loving, because I've seen aunts act this way, I've seen grandmothers act this way, and so forth, even best friends. So there's someone very motherly, on your side saying, I don't like him, or his mom doesn't like you. But there's something right there letting me know, and this person is not very rude or vocal. They're very quiet about it, very silent about it, but they are very observant, very, very observant, has a watchful eye. This also talks about physical love. So it's, when people obviously smoochy and stuff, because they're a couple. And it also brings up an experience where after this closeness, something occurred where, again, he seems unstable to me, because if you think, okay, we're close, mind, body, soul, we share stories, we have a friendship, we're close, we're sharing all these things, we're getting closer, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's something that I have to push to decide, a decision, when someone gives an ultimatum. So this is either that the mother or some relative is poking their nose in the relationship, saying, are you going to be doing this? Are you going to do this? Like, why are you going in that direction? This is intrusive as well, which lets me know that there's been some influence from other people in the relationship, which is not good. But they do it from afar. They don't get into your face or his face and say, I don't like you. No, this is done silently from afar. So it influences the person. They're giving their opinions. And this is also reflecting where he can give you a condition. You can give him a condition too. I'm not doing this until maybe this is when you put your foot down. Because this is when you found, you're giving too much of yourself and you don't want to continue. Okay, so so this is talking about, so I'll explain, this is talking about someone who's very motherly, right, which you're identifying as your BFF and your sisters, but it's someone who's very motherly, that is influencing the relationship. So this is where a support group is very important. Someone that's close to someone else, a relative who's dating someone they don't like, sometimes it becomes a third wheel where they are the breaker of the relationship, they're intrusive, and sometimes it's a support group where they're telling you, hey, we're noticing this, we love you, this is not good for you. So there's this old saying that says, when you meet someone and you fall in love, and you have your cat doesn't like them and your dog doesn't like them and a couple of your friends say something and you're giving the same advice, if they are your close circle and they are your love and support group, you can't turn a blind eye to it, because maybe they're onto something, they want the best for you. So that's where you would know if you have a very strong love support group in your life, which some people don't, then it's important to listen to that. And I agree with them, but let's keep going. All right, so now we're going to stop the past. We already know, we already know where this is going. Let's go. Let's talk about what's going on now, and then we'll look into his mind. Oh, by the way, did I say something about the putting a condition? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Which is, yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay, let me put this away. Let me grab my other deck. And I got more cards here that I did. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. All right, let's go for the other deck now. All right. Now we're going to go into current time. Yeah, we'll check on that. I don't think she likes you. Yeah, I was about to get to that. That's why I always tell people, don't tell me anything. Wait. Don't tell me anything. Let me see if it comes up. Because I don't want you to think that I said it, that's why I'm evidential. But that's okay. You told me that. That's fine. I feel that you feel comfortable with me. And that's why you told me. Yes, I see that. And we'll talk about it, okay? Okay, so health concern, as you're saying it, is pretty vague, because it can be that he has a certain, let's say, a condition, and women might think, oh my goodness, then they have to be a nurse, and they have to worry about when they get older. In this case, I'm seeing more, it's like something that's contagious. So something that can be like an STD or something like that. So if he's very promiscuous, and that's why I said there's vices. We talked about vices. We talked about addictive behavior. So a lot of times it's someone that has very promiscuity type of behavior. So promiscuous, so a person that sleeps around a lot or has slept around a lot or something like that. Is a concern. So is this what you're talking about, sweetheart, with Conrad? concerned with that topic? Oh, we were going to check on his mom. Let me ask you. Hang on 1 second. Hi, did you get disconnected or something? I was waiting on your answer. Oh, you got disconnected? Yes to my question, or yes, you got disconnected? Because there could be a delay sometimes, and then I'm like, what? What is she answering? Let me check on the mom. 1 second. Okay, she does. She's, her attitude on you is, oh, okay. Oh, you did get disconnected. Oh, okay. I'm still live. It's still at the, I see my timer. I'm still good. Oh, I'm glad it was you and not me, because that way I can record the archive, you know, the reading like straight up in one clip, you know, just to have, okay. All right. So what I was talking about was, well, give me 1 second. Let me talk about the mom. So the mom, her attitude is, she hasn't given it that much thought. It's just that she would like to see you for more family events. So she thinks that she'll get, her whole motto is she'll get to know you slowly while, you know, while she meets you more. So like if there's more dinners or there's more family to get-togethers, or holidays is a perfect time, depending on what you know, celebrate or whatever. Most people have something celebratory at the end of the year, whether it's Yule or whatever it is. But anyway, this is not something, you know, I think later on though, she might not like you, like not fully, but there's something off about her. There's something where right now it's more neutral. It's, you got to realize Capricorn males, the relationship they have with their mothers is very different. He wants to make the mother happy, but the mother's not very loving fully. So there's a lot of judgment from the mother. So he's always trying to like make her happy, or he's always trying to like, you know, there's a lot of like, especially if he has siblings, there's a lot of competition there. Dad wasn't there for me, so I want mom to really be there for me. So there's something to that pattern sometimes with Capricorn males, depending on the decan he was born in. But generally, that's a very Capricorn thing. So we know about the mom. I think that later on she might be kind of sourdough, like 1 minute fluffy, the next minute a little bit hard, and she can be like that. Whereas your side seems more warm. When they like you, they like you. When they don't, they don't. They seem more consistent. Remember, he has issues because of his upbringing. So, you know, that's where it started. So I do see here that you mentioned something where you said that you had like a health concern or something. I do see something coming in where this is talking about, it can include STDs. It can include seeing a person having a lot of promiscuity activity. Like all of a sudden you think that, you know, the person, it's when a person has a tendency for secretive kind of life. And that can mean a lot of different things. I don't want you to think like a lot of creepy stuff, because that's also, you know, but I want you to just, within the norm of the not norm, I would say this is when a person kind of like flirts too much, or they have a couple of people that they every now and then, like maybe someone who cheats, or someone who has like a secret friend with benefits they hook up with. This can be their online activity is kind of risque and untasteful. It can be that they've had a lot of partying in their life, and it can, it caught up with them. Okay. So this concern, I do see it here, and I see that it intensifies. All right, got to check on a couple other things. We're going to continue to talk about the current. Okay, give me 1 second. So at any point, are you nervous or stressed on his loyalty? Don't answer that. I just want you to think about a theme that has come up here a minute, okay? This is the kind of thing that if you let your guard down and you don't want to be in a scenario in the future with a baby bump with someone like that. You know what I mean? Not that it's coming up in the read, but I'm just letting you know that long term, that's something that you definitely want stability. Definitely want stability in your life. So I can see how this seems risky. Give me a second. I'm going to see what's going on. And then we'll do a deep dive into what he feels for you, what he feels about you, and what's really going on in his head. Give me 1 second. So I'm sorry that you went through that. So what I was talking about, let me go up the comments a minute. Maybe there's something that you said that I missed. So give me 1 second here. Okay. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me read you what I've got so far. Let me read you what I've got so far. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let me tell you the big clincher before this part I'm going to read in reverse, backwards, because I want you to know the big picture before the details. All right. Do I have a complete solution on the relationship? Sort of. Let's find out what is in his mind. Point number 1 I want to make. It has been revealed to me that this man can cost you an opportunity in your life where there's travel or a career path or something exciting that has to do with either your future, your career. Maybe it's, I don't know, it's an opportunity. I'm not doing a career reading, so my focus is on him and love and stuff. So, but absolutely understand that the time suck that this guy is doing on you, because it's understandable. You meet, he's charming, there's a lot of romance, and then all these bumps down the road where he's becoming a secretive, inconsistent person that at the same time affects your life in many ways. Physical, mental, body, mind, soul. In many ways, there's a lot of, there's a lot here, right? And it's understandable. You put a lot of time and effort, and you know, you're holding on to the person you met and what the future felt like in those dreamy times, but your logic is saying, hello, you know? So it's understandable, but realize you came to me for clarity, and I'm trying to tell you that this man can cost you an opportunity in your life that's coming. So I don't know what your plans are. I don't know if you're going to go away to university, or maybe you already graduated, or maybe there's something that you can work overseas, or maybe it's something with family that you can go live in a new place. You know, I don't know your details because I'm not doing that kind of reading. But in this reading, I know that Conrad can jeopardize something in 2026 for you. And it's going to be something of a direction of your life path. 1 second. Ooh, sneeze. Excuse me. I burn a lot of incense, so. All right, so let's go now and do this backwards, all right? Now that you know one of the big clinchers in this reading, let's look at the present. This talks about somebody who, they hold on to their money. They're, in a way, they can be spendthrift for some things, like buy a girl a nice bottle of perfume, or, you know, once in a while there could be something really, really beneficial that they do with money, but mostly they're hogs, and mostly they're cheap, right? They're frugal as hell. They you know, it's like, oh, that's too much, you know. So this is a person that they're very stingy with their money, but they're good with their money though. And this talks about not offering as much as he should. So this right there is a problem. The issue coming up in the reading talks about duplicity. This talks about trickery. This talks about deception. It's and this also talks about being written a lie. So this lets me know that there has been some vocal or written communication between both of you, where the revealing of feelings is, there's something, you know, hidden in it. This talks about when a person is feeling around trying to get the person to admit something and they don't. So this is deception. And this lets me know that currently there's been something to that effect. Now, what is upcoming in this relationship in order. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So there's no cliffhanger here. I'm going to close everything off for you, but I need to work my way in that. Let's first talk really quick about what you're aware of it with this man. You're aware that he's very clever, very sharp. What you're not aware of is he has more than one vice. So this is a person that they have an addiction to something. So this can be fooling around, looking at inappropriate adult content. It can be with other extracurricular things, whatever. It's shady. And you're not aware of the fact that this person puts their headspace into thinking about other people. I'm going to find out if he's just, you know, doing the Charlie Sheen, as they say. I'm going to find out if he's kind of like, you know, a bed hopper, or if there is one partner that he's not over. So I'm going to look into that. Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about what he hides from you. There is something where part of him is not, how should I say? There's something taboo about what he likes. Already I'm telling you that his sexual behavior is not average. What is normal in the world, and a lot of women that keep drawing a lot of jerks to themselves, which a lot of people, you know, if I do a reading for a woman who dated and married 3 drunks, she's going to think that every man is a closet drunk. No matter how much I tell her that's not true, she's going to believe that. If I talk to a woman who had an issue with a gambler, she's going to think, you know, if I talk to a woman who had a problem with a guy with a porn addiction, she's going to think all men look at that. That's not true. That's their experience, and they keep patternistically drawing the same kind of loser. This guy in particular, he has a sexual deviance, and if you need me to identify it because it's stressing you out, we can do that in a private reading, but I don't think you really need to go that route. This is going to cover so much that you're good with this reading, but there are people that obsessively need to know, and if you're one of those people, then we can do a private reading with that. But I would say don't even waste your time, just focus on what I'm going to say. Part of him with you, and I'm going to verify what his headspace is in a little bit, but I'm already seeing that part of him is not that interested in you. He's interested in seeing you. He's interested in sometimes connecting with you. But he also wants his other side pieces of cake and tea, okay? And that's the tea on that situation, because this is where he's very rebellious with something, all right? Now, let's talk about your hopes and wishes in this relationship. You want things, this is telling me that you want to get to a point where things stabilize and your good luck fortune with this guy improves. So you want to get out of this bad phase, and you hope that you're going to go over this hurdle, and then the answer will all become simple and life will be back to normal. You want normalcy. All right. Now, the influence you have around you is that the people in your life that loves you wants you to align with destiny the right way. They don't want you to have a future with this person, and that's very strong in this reading. The thing that you can do, all right, I'm not sure what role you play in being aware of some of his extracurricular activities. So, for example, if he uses any kind of substance or whatever, and you're involved in hanging out with him when he does, or whatever the deal is, you don't have to disclose any of that TMI stuff. But there's something here where you can play a role in either identifying it and saying, calling light to it and saying, hey, blah, blah, and you don't condone that. Or there's a role that you can play to either stop something or to bring something into clarity, because this is talking about, it can also be a person, you know, when it comes to something medical that's going on, talking about it. So if a person has a condition or something like that, and you feel that it can jeopardize you, this is also verbalizing and expressing, hey, we need to talk about this. So whatever this is, okay? Now, other than that, now let's look into what I see for what's coming up in the relationship. I see that the very next step, because I see that there's anger and stress right now. So that has to kind of fizzle out. And then there has to be some sense of repairing. After that, I see that this can drop you into some kind of depression. I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm sorry you're going through that. This is a warning. Okay, this is letting you know that you are headed to a direction where you can end up really depressed, and it can really mess with your mind dealing with this person and their issues. Because when you enter a relationship with someone who's healthy and refreshed in their ways, they have good vibes, they have all their shit together, they're all aligned, you're going to get that too. That's why two people combine. But if you combine with somebody who's like imbalanced, that's what you're going to get. And you're going to combine with you being at 100% and they're at 50. This brings mental anguish. So what I see in your future, near future, besides you have to get through this stage of making up, because I do see that that's going to happen. So today you're awkward, you're upset, you're stressed, you got one foot in, one foot out, you put down your boundaries. He knows you're pissed off, okay? That means that little steps you're going to repair. He's going to say something romantic. He's going to want to be with you, blah, 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 blah. He's going to try to coax you back. Okay, we understand you're going to repair. But what happens after that? I see that this time, the very next hurdle that you go right after, there's a dip. And this can really affect your emotional being. What sign are you? What is your sun sign? I don't need to know your big 6, your big 3. Just your sun sign will suffice. Z, you there? Did your chat stop working? All right, sweetie, don't worry about it. Oh, you don't know your sun sign? When's your birthday? Oh, no worries, no worries. If you don't know your sun sign, just your zodiac sign, your main zodiac sign, just then give me your birthday. What month and day, and I'll tell you. All right, so anyway, the next part about this is that you have to be aware of not being very depressed after this, okay? Oh, you're a Cancer. Okay. All right, sweetie. So, oh, July 1st. Okay, nice. Okay. So, so even more so, this is probably why you want to make a home. You want to fall in love, and you want to make a home, and you're very romantic, and you're very, when something belongs to you, you don't want to let it go. And you stay sometimes with something bad, even if it's bad. You're very loyal. Can't do that. You're too precious. You don't deserve to go down this void. But anyway, you must have a very interesting rising, because let me tell you what's going to happen. So I see you dipping into some really sad crap. And then after you go through that phase of the sad stuff, the people around you in your life are going to boost you up. And you're going to put your foot down and start displaying some behavior that is very leadership quality. Now, give me 1 second. Okay, I feel that you're going to, maybe this reading will help you. I don't know. But you got to give yourself time. You have to give yourself, you're very emotional. You're very loving. And you have fallen for this guy. And you've put a lot into it. But thank God for that support group that you have. Because if you let them, they will give you the power when you're weak. And they will give you the power to, through their love and support, to push off bad decisions that you're about to make. You see, you don't want to end up all the things those women told you. They're right. You don't want to end up looking like you're 90 years old in 7 years, miserable, wondering what this guy's doing behind your back. You don't want to be there when he explodes with his bad attitude, expecting you to pick up the pieces. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. Okay? There's something inconsistent about him, and he's not getting with the program. He's not prioritizing you. Now, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time leaving this energy with this man, leaving this connection, leaving you falling out of love with him. It's going to be a challenge. Because you're in, you don't want to be in, but you're in. But you also are going to, exactly. The first thing you need to do is own your feelings. Don't lie to yourself. And 1 minute you could be really mad, and, and say, oh, the hell with him, and then you fall. You understand that you have to give yourself the space to look at your situation head on and then fight it off. So it's going to go like this. You're going to think about the reading. You're going to think about your feelings. You're going to make up with him at some point. In a way, that's good because you're going to have closure. You're going to melt a little bit when he tries to soften things up, because Capricorn can make Cancer laugh a lot. He can be very charming. He can be very protective, right? Very stable, which is why you fell for him. Because he has what it takes to be the man that you're looking for. All right? When you hit that depressive stuff that I'm talking about, which is sad, but when you go through it, you're going to get up again. You're going to be very strong. I suggest that you make the decision to really close that door, because he can jeopardize something in your future. You got to make the decision pretty quickly beginning 2026, because the problem is if you allow him back in, he's going to take you again for another loop-de-loop, because you're going to remember the magic of when you connected. And if you keep believing in just that bubble, then your head's in the clouds, where you have to realize that bubble burst a long time ago, and you've seen the flags and you've seen the situation, and love is not supposed to hurt or stress you out. Did you know that? Did you know that real, true love is the most beautiful thing in the world? Did you know that it's supposed to be easy and stress-free, and supposed to be your loving nest that you're looking for? Not this bullshit. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back into the other point I was making. So you're going to have a PowerPoint. You're going to have this moment of empowerment. Like, it's going to wash over you like, the hell with this. This is it, right? I suggest you take that moment of momentum and do what you got to do and stick to it. And then start looking into dating or looking to find something else you need to do. If you don't, then you will have no one to blame but yourself. If you don't, then you will, the days of your life, the days of your youth, no matter what age, you can't buy time on a shelf. That's what I always say. And you don't deserve to give that away to someone that's not going to appreciate it. When a man falls in love, I've been doing this over 30 years, and I've been reading over 30 years, but I have not specialized in love for over 30 years because kids don't read. I started reading when I was 5. Little kids don't read on love stuff. I started with love stuff as obviously in high school, but I've been reading long enough on love where I can tell you real love is not stressful. It's exciting. It's fun. It's pretty. It's beautiful. It's embracing. When a man is in love with a woman, he'll do anything, you know, to support her, to comfort her, to protect her. This like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, this coldness, this resilience, this kind of like whatever, and then the really sweetness and the Jekyll and Hyde kind of, this is odd. This is odd. Oh, okay, sweetie, no problem. Yes, I look forward to it. I'll be on later too. All right, sweetheart, nice to see you. All right, so I suggest you take this momentum when you get it, because you got to go through the stages. You know, that's how it's going to unfold. It'll make sense when you let the reading kind of play out. I suggest you think about that. I do see you will leave him. So if that comforts you, I do see you will leave him. But I do see that there can be several times where he tries to open that door and you could fall prey to it. And you have to be strong and just don't look back. Okay? Now, let's say that you do. No one's judging you. This is a no judgment space. If you end up dating him again and you come in for a reading and everything, there's no judgment. There's no judgment. We would cross that bridge and I would do the best reading possible and I would be honest with whatever's going on and that's it. But it would be better for you. Better. Right. So I'm just saying, it's your decision. You don't want to waste time in your life and you certainly don't want to go through this pattern all over again. Now, before I close the read, let me do a little peek on what he feels about you. All right, this is where I'm going to find out a little bit about, so you already know what's going to happen. You already know the answer. You already know it's a no-go. You already know that the people in your life are right, okay? You already know there's a lot of like hidden shady shit. And oh, did I mention he's also drawn to, I did talk about that, taboo kind of things, risque kind of like things. He's got an issue. Maybe he wants to write his own 50 Shades of Grey crap. You know what I mean? Okay, here we go. All right. All right, so this is bringing up... So the way he feels about you is that he has, this is getting into a little bit like TMI. It's a little bit uncomfortable. I'm very G-rated, but we're going to go there, okay? Slightly, we're going to go there. This is letting me know when I ask what he's feeling about you, what he feels about you. They're, right. Exactly. And right. That's why I mentioned those things. And that's why it's important for you to address your own health and your wellness. That's why I touched on it lightly, but I didn't want to put you in an uncomfortable scenario because, you know, obviously I'm very respectful to the person I'm reading for. And, you know, no need to feel uncomfortable, sweetie. But get yourself healed, sweetie. Okay. But listen, let's talk about this a minute. This is very little weird in the reading, okay? It's going to take a little weird turn. We're done with the reading. We're done. Well, this is the reading, but we're done with like the past, the present, the future, the relationship, what you need to know about him. We're done with that. I'm just picking at some extra spots here where, oh, no worries, no worries. That's what I do. So I'm a love specialist with astrology and tarot. So yeah, in my psychic work, I do a lot of love work. All right, honey. So, and I also, you know, I love helping women and stuff. you know, it's women, empowering women to find better loves in their life and get that part of their life going. So that's kind of what my spiritual mission. Okay, so here we go. This is going to get a little strange, but this is where I kind of get into his feelings, right? Kind of like a light mind read on him. Okay, so this is telling me that Conrad is thinking in some ways that he wanted to expose you to some of the things that floats his boat, if you know what I mean. You know, let's do this together and let's smoochie like this and let's do, you know, what, yada, 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 okay? And he wanted to slowly share more of his fantasy crap with you, but he saw that you're very innocent for that, and he feels that you would completely leave, and this feels that you can't take it. So that means that he looks at you like someone who can be in a situationship with him. That already lets me know that you're not on the girlfriend category. You are someone that he can just be with because that's his thrill. So he has different categories of women. He has the, you know, girlfriend types that he doesn't really put in the girlfriend category, but he likes being with the girlfriend type, so the nice girl. And then he's got like the slutty ones that'll do all kinds of things. So in your particular case, you know, right. Exactly. I'm trying to keep it like the Disney version, you know. I'm trying to keep it like the G-rated version. You know, but this is showing me that he wants to do more of that exploration stuff. And he's concerned today, like present to, you know, in this phase of time, that he feels that you're just going to leave because that's going to scare you off. But he's going to continue to try. And that's uncomfortable, and it's going to open a door that if you're delicate enough, if you came from a very nice upbringing and you're not into that world or scene, it can traumatize you, just to let you know, for you to be aware. Okay? In little bits and pieces, you know, your grown-up self, intelligent self can kind of digest some of it. But if he decides to open the door a little bit more to things, it might leave a mark emotionally. And that's another reason you should not expose yourself to that. Just saying, okay? All right. So his intention with you is not that benefic. It's not that beneficial for you. His intention with you is to keep you as his lover for a very long time, and he's a bit controlling. Okay? So that already is giving toxic vibes. We're going to leave it at that, but that's toxic. I don't see that there's deep love. I don't see that he's chosen you as the one. Because we checked on the relationship, what's written in the future. I already made my predictions. I already told you what to expect. But now I'm looking into his intention, his mind. And I just don't like that place. So, just for you to know. No, yeah, it's much deeper, honey. It's much deeper. And you're not how should I say, my gosh, how can I say something and not be crass or say something so ugly or tasteless, but I don't know what else to say it. You're not his rent-a-hoe. Like, can you say that on here? You're not his rent-a-hoe, okay? You're not his escort. Tell him to go fly a kite. Like, really? You're a classy woman who wants a good relationship and you want like pretty flowers. Like, what the fuck, dude? Get the fuck out of here. I am very upfront. Yes. Maybe too much upfront. So tell him you're not a rent-a-hoe and tell him to get the hell out of there. But seriously, without joking, this person can cost you more things. So you have to heal yourself, you know, get medical assistance to get yourself healed and educate yourself on each one of those things and, you know, educate yourself, get more testing and everything just to make sure that was the extent of it. Prioritize yourself. And then get yourself in a situation where you are protected in every way. So your mind, your wellness, your spirituality, and be aware that this path not only already can, you know, cost you a lot of success that's coming for you, it can cost you a good boyfriend, it can cost you a lot of things and wasted time. And there's also layered dangers where you can be in a situationship under his beck and call and control, which you kind of already are. Let's be honest, you don't have a romantic relationship. You have a relationship where a man is using you for his satisfaction, where you're being strung along thinking he's going to become the boyfriend. So let's call this what this really is. I'm very realistic. You know, you're a toy in the toy box, okay? And you have to wake up and realize that, because this is not a relationship. You're being used. All right, sweetheart? So you could put down all the boundaries you want. Your body is not, you're not an escort, okay? So you are a woman who wants a good relationship. Honor yourself and let this be the last time you fall into any of this. And next time, you better see those red flags. I can't candy coat it. I can't. What good would it do to you? You know, honey? What good would it do to you? And he's going to try to charm you. You know why he's going to try to charm you? Because he likes that you are the way you love. He loves it. The way you believe in him and the way that you see him in that light, he loves it. And there's not a lot of women that do that. The way that you're willing to be there for him in every way, he loves that. So you are special. And he also loves the fact, this is his favorite part, that he can control you. Because he'll do something upsetting, he'll lie to you, and you'll let him back in. And he knows he can. And that control is a thrill. When someone likes dominating things, especially in the bedroom and stuff like that, a person that's very dominant, it can feed their ego. So there's something not wired right, okay? So you got to understand that, honey, all right? I hope this reading helps. I know it was a lot. It was a little bit heavy. I am very direct as a reader. And, you know, I'm sorry. I try to be a little bit more delicate when I talk, but sometimes... All right, honey, thank you so much. It was nice meeting you, and I do wish you a happy holidays, okay, honey? And stay safe and healthy. All right, sweetie. Thank you, Z. Z, right? You want me to call you Z? Or Kia? This will pass in your life. This will pass. This all will pass. Think of 2026. Think of where you were. I want you to do something a minute. Think about when you were with that Capricorn friend and you were at the peak of that friendship, right? That reality was your reality at that moment, right? Now think of where you're at right now. What you're not thinking about is how wonderful a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship you're going to be in the future. And you're going to look back to today and it's going to be a nightmare you don't want to remember. So the closer you connect with the future success you're going to have, the more this phase of your life will be a bad chapter. So be strong and know that I'm telling you, you're going to have a good boyfriend. All right, honey? So be strong and stay on to positive thinking. All right, sweetie. Thank you so much and I appreciate it. Have a good one.